ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Let's then inshallah take the next Quranic diagrammatic overview session, Juzz 29. This is going to be quite a challenge, and we're going to be doing something slightly different inshallah with this. Hopefully it will be a benefit. This Juzz has got 11 surahs in it. So let's list them first. Surah Mulk, Surah Al-Qalam, Haqqa, Ma'arij, Nuh, Jinn, Muzzammil, Muddathir, Qiyamah, Insan and Mursalat. The way we are going to proceed with this is a slightly different document. The document is not the Quranic diagrammatic overviews, but is in fact just the Quranic overviews in text format. Just to introduce you to the bit of a history about this. This document, the Quranic overview document, which is just the text of the Quranic summaries of each surah, was the first thing that was translated from Maulana Aslam Sheikhupuri, Muhammad Aslam Sheikhupuri, rahimahullah. He is no more alive, unfortunately. He had summarized each juz in Urdu, and all we did was we took each juz and we translated it from Urdu into English. That's all we did. So this was the first attempt towards trying to make Quran more accessible for English readers. So the next step was the Quranic diagrammatic overviews. Again, this Quranic diagrammatic overviews that we have been doing, this is actually a translation in English of a work done in Urdu by Khalilur Rahman Chishti. He is mashallah alive and well. And this piece of work, when we were looking for a diagrammatic or an interactive way of trying to explain Quran, we came across this by Allah Ta'ala's mercy through Sheikh Suhaib Hassan. So Sheikh Suhaib Hassan, we were just visiting him, and we just mentioned this is our ambition, and alhamdulillah, he introduced us to this book, and it is a really, really mashallah good piece of work in Urdu. All we have done is taken the diagrams only and the links from that book. So that you know the history of all this effort, inshallah ta'ala, and then you can be a part of such efforts in future, and you can then take these efforts to the next level. That's the whole objective of us sharing this. Okay, Surah Mulk then, what we will do, I will, from the diagrammatic overviews, I will read out the central theme, and then I will revert, or I will change to the text, which is the Quranic overview text, and then we will go through. And then when we feel fit, we will stop for some ayat as well, inshaAllah. Okay, Surah Al-Mulk then. Period of revelation is the 4th year of Nabawi. The central theme is the proofs for the messengerhood and akhirah, in the sign in nature, the signs in ourselves, the signs throughout history, and rational signs, and it negates shirk. So let's go through now the text here. It says this is a Makkan surah consisting of 30 ayat. There are numerous ahadith regarding its excellence. Yeah. So according to Ibn Majah, Nasa'i, Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said there are 30 ayat in the Quran which intercede for its reader, and as a result the reader is forgiven. So this is relating to Surah Al-Mulk. This is also known as Mani'ah, the one that prohibits, and Munjiyah, the one that saves, i.e. the one that saves from the punishment of the grave. And it has become the routine of many people of knowledge to recite this after Isha prayer. So just to know about Surah Al-Mulk, introductory points. So moving on, the surah discusses 3 main topics. Let's take them. The real king of this whole creation is only Allah. And this tells us the whole objective of creation. Allah Ta'ala mentions خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah created death and life to just test who is best in terms of deeds. It is only Allah who decides the life and death, honor and humiliation, poverty and abundance, and prohibition and providence. He is all-knowing of everything, and He has made in the earth pathways for us to utilize. It is He who enables the birds to fly in the air, and He is the sole provider for all that exists, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So many signs have been given in nature. Then, 3 proofs regarding the existence of and the oneness of Allah. Allah Ta'ala tells us, look at the sky as a roof, no pillars. Look at the stars, they act as lamps. Look at the earth, purpose built, so you can walk on it, yeah, as a floor. And the rivers of water flowing. All this, look at this constellation, all these interactions of creation. Of course, there's one creator, because there is consistency in all these things, yeah? Subhanallah. I mean, isn't it amazing that we need to breathe oxygen and oxygen is there? Isn't that amazing? O2 is there. Subhanallah, it's just amazing. Anyway, it then says, all inform us, these ayat, of the existence and the greatness of the Creator. The end result of the rejectors is mentioned, the hellfire will be overflowing with rage as it were to explode. Let's take these ayat 5 to 7. In fact, that's not the right ayat. I think it's 27. Here it is. Sorry, it is right. In fact, it was right. 6 to 8. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا, when they are thrown in it, سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ. They hear from it a dreadful inhaling while it boils up. أعوذ بالله من ذلك. Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that the Jahannam, the two seasons, yeah, is when the Jahannam breathes in and breathes out. This hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The cold and the heat, the winter and the summer. إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ. It almost bursts with rage, the Jahannam. Subhanallah. It is creation of Allah, Jahannam. كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ. Same story, subhanallah. So many times we have read this in the Quran this year. When they are in the hellfire, the group of people, they will be asked, did not the messenger come to you? Didn't he come to warn you? They will say that he came, but we denied him. And we said that this is nothing. Yeah? This is just misguidance. But then they will regret. Ayah 10. وَلَوْ كُنَّا وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. If only we had listened and we had followed our reasoning, we would not be people of the hellfire. So Allah Ta'ala is telling the people that this is what is going to happen on the Day of Judgment. Subhanallah al-Azim. And ayah 27, it says, when the rejectors see this, their faces will change and it will be said to them, this is what you used to long for. Because you used to say, where is the azab? Bring it. Here it is. A'udhu billahi min dhalik. Moving on, Surah Qalam. Surah Qalam is one of the surahs that starts with the harf muqatta'a. Yeah, noon. That's it. Okay, there's no alif lam mim, just noon on its own. Central theme then let's take, first of all, fear the worldly punishment, but the punishment of the hereafter is more severe. So this is Surah, Makkan Surah, all of these surahs, if I'm not mistaken, Makki surahs coming. The fact that Allah has taken an oath by the pen, because Allah Ta'ala says, Noon wal qalam, yeah, by the pen. It shows its importance as a favor from Allah. The hadith also mention of us of this, yeah, it is related by Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. The first thing that Allah created was the pen, and after creating it, He commanded it to write. It asked, what should it write? Allah told it, write the taqdeer, everything that will happen. So it wrote everything that would happen until the Day of Judgment. Then Allah Ta'ala created Noon, the ink. SubhanAllah. It is this very pen that has allowed the transfer of knowledge from the pious predecessors and allowed the publishing of information throughout the globe. So this pen has a big impact, especially in what? What's the real use of this? How should we use it? How should we use the pen? Means to do what? Da'wah. 29th Juzz, we should know this by now, huh? Inshallah, you do. Alhamdulillah. The Quran emphasized the importance of the pen, education and knowledge at a time when people were unaware of such matters. So it was revolutionary, subhanallah. It then discusses three main topic areas. It discusses the status, the greatness and the akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. He is at the highest level of character. At first it takes an oath to reject the claimers of the rejectors, says, You Muhammad ﷺ are not by the grace of Allah a madman. You are not what they are saying. It then goes on to state that the Prophet ﷺ is on an exalted character, as we mentioned, and for him there is an immense reward. This is beautiful hadith. Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she was asked about the Prophet ﷺ. Tell us about the character of the Prophet ﷺ. She said, don't you read Quran? I said, yes. She said, Kana khuluquhu al-Quran. The khuluq, the whole embodiment, the Prophet ﷺ's personality was Quran. So he is Quran in action. The surah then contrasts the highly exalted perfection of the Prophet's character by highlighting the traits or the characteristics of his opposition as being very lowly, indulging in trivial matters such as accusing, backbiting, stopping others from doing good, rebellious nature of people, sinful and proud. This is in ayat 10 to 14. And then the commentators comment that these ayat relate to the leaders of the Quraysh, especially Walid ibn Mughira, who was one of the enemies of Allah. Second topic in this surah, story of the people of the garden. And this was known by the Arabs. It says the garden was situated near Yemen. Its owners would give the poor their right from its produce. However, after his death, so the person had the garden after his death, his offspring started to make excuses. So they didn't want to give anything from that garden to the poor people. So they plotted that, you know what, we're going to keep the whole produce this time. We're going to go early in the morning, take the produce, that's it, it's all gone. What happened? Allah, He destroyed the whole garden. You're having nothing. SubhanAllah. This story teaches us we should not be selfish in what Allah has bestowed upon us. But instead we should share what we have given with those who are in need. In Quran says that there is the people of belief, they know the right of the people who need from your wealth. What that means, whatever we have, there is already a right for the needy in there. Did you follow? So if we earn 100, already there's a percentage that is for the needy anyway. We don't own the 100. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us through this is how we need to think. The third important topic area is that of the hereafter. It says, ayah 42. Let's take ayah 42 in Surah Qalam. يَوْمَ يُكْشَفُ عَنْ سَاقٍ وَيُدْعَوْنَ إِلَى السُّجُودِ فَلَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ. This is scary ayah. The day the shin will be uncovered and they are invited to prostrate before Allah, but they will not be able to prostrate. The day the shin will be covered. Which type of ayah is it? Jazakallah khair. Ahsant. Ayah mutashabih. Yes, from Surah Al Imran. Okay? Only Allah knows its meaning. What does it mean, the shin of Allah? What does it mean? Allah knows. Allah said, we say yes. That's it. People will be asked, do sajda. They can't do sajda because they didn't submit to Allah in this life. Hence, they cannot submit in the hereafter. خَاشِئَةً أَبْصَارُهُمْ تَرْحَقُهُمْ ذِلَّةً. Their eyes will be humbled, humiliation will cover them. وَقَدْ كَانُوا يَدْعُونَ إِلَى السُّجُودِ وَهُمْ سَالِمُونَ. They used to be invited to prostration while they were sound during the worldly life, but now it's too late. The hadith says that the people's backs will be made as if they are backs made out of wood, planks, solid, can't bend. Because they didn't bend in front of Allah in this life. The commentators have explained this to indicate the extreme and horrifying nature of the hereafter, and at the end of the surah, the Prophet ﷺ is being told to be patient in face of such opposition. Let's just take that. 48. فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تكن كصاحب الحوت إذ نادى هو مكذوم. Be patient, remain steadfast. Do not be like who? Who's Sahib al-Hut? Who's Sahib al-Hut? Companion of the fish. Who is it? Without looking at the translation. I caught you out. Yunus alayhi salam, isn't it? Companion of the whale, yeah? Because you remember what he did, yeah? He went before he was told expressly. So don't hasten the punishment or the decision. Surah Al-Haqqa then. Central theme here, period of revelation is between the 4th and 5th of Nabawi. Part of this, beautiful part of this, is what affected Umar radiallahu anhu first. Yeah? Okay? Taha was what converted him, but Haqqa is what started to make way in his heart. When he was in the Kaaba listening to Quran, and subhanAllah, whatever question came to his mind, the answer was in the ayah that was being recited. Allah guided him through that, subhanAllah. Never underestimate, brothers and sisters, ever underestimate your da'wah, yeah? Don't ever underestimate it. Allah may take it, hit the spot, you don't even know, subhanAllah. You know the man, the guy who made that movie, Dutch director, is he Dutch? About the Prophet ﷺ, yeah. He became Muslim. SubhanAllah, look at that. Allahu Akbar. So you don't know, huh? Just like in Fir'aun's house, Musa can be born. There you go. Who knows, eh? May Allah guide him more, strengthen him, so he can now make videos about the Prophet ﷺ which are factual and are da'wah based, eh? Allahu Akbar. You know why? Because when we as Muslims don't do anything, then Allah Ta'ala, He changes people to come and do the job for us, because we are lazy. Unfortunately. Khair. So Surah Al-Haqqa, the inevitable reality. Makkan Surah, 52 ayat. Of the different names of the Day of Judgment, there is also Haqqa. It means the thing that will surely come to pass, as on the Day of Judgment, all the promises and warnings will come to pass. It will happen. Haqqa, the reality. The real subject of this surah is the proof that the Prophet ﷺ is the true messenger of Allah, and it starts by mentioning the destruction of the Ad and Thamud. Let's take these ayat. Al-Haqqa, Mal-Haqqa, wa ma adraka Mal-Haqqa, كذبت ثمود وعاد بالقارعة فأما ثمود فأهلكوا بالطاغية وأما عاد فأهلكوا بريح صرصر عاتية سخرها عليهم 7 ليال و8 أيام حسوما فترى القوم فيها صرعى كأنهم أجاز نخل خاوية. Subhanallah, Adhab of Allah. Allah is mentioning it in graphic detail. The surah then discusses those incidences that will take place before the Day of Judgment. For example, the blowing of the trumpet. Who will blow the trumpet? Israfil. The mountains and the earth being turned into dust, and the sky will explode, the angels will descend, who will then encircle all the humanity. Let's take these ayat, 13 to 17. فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ نَفْخَةً وَاحِدَةً وَحُمِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالْجِبَالُ فَدُكَّتَا دَكَّةً وَاحِدَةً فَيَوْمَئِذٍ وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةُ وَانشَقَّتِ السَّمَاءُ فَهِيَ يَوْمَئِذٍ وَاهِيَةٌ وَالْمَلَكُ عَلَى أَرْجَائِهَا وَيَحْمِلُ عَرْشَ رَبِّكَ فَوْقَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ ثَمَانِيَةٌ. Subhanallah. We have seen other glimpses, haven't we, of the angels bringing down the throne in the previous surahs. And what else did we know about the angels? What do they do? For the believers, they do what? They seek, you listen to the question, inshallah, carefully, inshallah, yeah? Because what happened, mashallah, because you're very, mashallah, anxious too, alhamdulillah, that's good. But the thing is that the question should be listened to first, inshallah. Yani just as a teacher's tip, yeah, inshallah, yes. They will make dua for the believers. They make dua for the believers, yeah? May Allah Ta'ala make us from amongst those who they make dua for. Ameen. And I said also, now listen to the question, I also said, what will make everything in creation pray for us if we are doing what? No. I didn't say that. If we are seeking the knowledge of Allah. Okay. Anyway, when the judgment comes, it takes place, people will be presented in front of Allah, and the righteous people will be given their account in the right hand. And they will say, look at my book, read my book. They are the people behind their backs. And they will say, what is this? Woe to me. I wish that I didn't receive this book. I wish I didn't exist. I wish that I am now swallowed by the earth. A'udhu billahi min zalik. They will be returning to Jahannam. Allah has highlighted two main signs of such unfortunate people. First of all, they don't believe in Allah. And they do not encourage the feeding of the poor. Subhanallah. Allah then takes an oath to prove that the book, the truth of this book and the prophethood of the Prophet ﷺ is true. Let's move on to the next surah, Surah Al-Ma'arij. Surah Al-Ma'arij. This revealed in 6th year of Nabawi, after Umar radiallahu anhu had embraced Islam. Central theme in the diagrammatic overview is people who inquire about the time of resurrection should actually believe in it, instead of just asking when is it. What's the point of knowing when it is when you're not going to do anything for it? Just like people say, when's the deadline? But I'm not going to work for it. What's the point of you knowing the deadline? No point. And they should, like other believers, acquire good characteristics. The fire of hell will pull the material misers towards itself. It will attract the materialistic. In Surah Nur we mentioned 3 types of people, yeah? Nurun ala nur, then who do good as a mirage, but then there was zulumatun ba'duha fawqa ba'd. Darkness upon darkness, meaning they don't believe in Allah and they don't do any good either. 2 problems. Some people, they don't believe in Allah but they do some good, yeah? So this surah starts by telling us of the rejectors ridiculing at the invitation of the Prophet ﷺ, by asking him to bring the punishment to them so they can deal with it in this world. Subhanallah. So they're challenging the punishment of Allah. It then gives us a tour of the Day of Judgment and explains what will happen to the criminals on that day. Let's take these ayat 8 to 14. يَوْمَ تَكُونُ السَّمَاءُ كَالْمُهْلِ. So you read the translation, yeah, as I'm reading the Arabic. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ وَلَا يَسْأَلُ حَمِيمٌ حَمِيمًا يُبَصَّرُونَهُمْ يَوَدُّ الْمُجْرِمُ لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ. Everybody will say, how can I get rid of this problem? How? Even if I have to give my children, وَصَاحِبَتِهِ, and my wife, وَأَخِي وَفَصِيلَتِهِ الَّتِي تُؤْوِي, and his nearest kindred who shelter him. وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ يُنْجِي. You'll say, everything in the earth, I'm happy to give it to you, just let me go. Subhanallah. Is this not a mercy from Allah? He's telling us all this already, to prepare for it. Surah also tells us about the nature and psychology of man, in that he loves to hoard. We love to hoard things, We do it in our cellar, we keep things we never need. And then some people in the family, they will say, get rid of them. Because we don't need them. But this is mentality, hoard mentality, yeah? And we complain. Anything happens, we complain. If he faces difficulty, he starts to scream and shout and make a big fuss. But when he is given a favor, he becomes proud and arrogant. And when he is given wealth, he becomes selfish and miserly. Except for these people. So characteristics of the believers coming, 8 characteristics. For a chocolate, I will buy you the chocolate that you want, if you can tell me which surah this is linked to, these 8 characteristics we mentioned long time ago. The beginning of the surah, not QFC students from the past. It's not fair. Okay, you tell me. Abdullah. Surah Al-Mu'minun. Yes. But he has advantage because he has, anyway, khair, he knows that surah. Okay, they are regular in their prayers, there is a share in their wealth for those who ask and for those who refrain from asking. Number 2, they bear witness to the last day, they have no doubt about the Qiyamah. They fear Allah despite their worship and obedience, they still fear Allah. They keep away from zina, they fulfill their trust and promises, they bear witness with truth and equity, and they pray on time, and they are very mindful of the etiquette of prayer. Allah then informs us of the honor of the people in Jannah. And at the end of the surah, Allah takes an oath that the resurrection and judgment are true. and they are without any doubt. Allah is able to destroy these people and bring forth people who are better than them and who will worship Him alone. Let's just take that last ayah if we can to see. Khair, anyway, let's move on. Surah Nuh, beautiful surah. Subhanallah al-Azim. This is amazing, this surah is. This, I have given a title to this surah. You can disagree because this is just some thoughts, yeah. This is the embodiment of Tawasi bil Sabr. Tawasi bil Haqq. The embodiment of Tawasi bil Haqq. And you will see, inshallah, in the Quranic framework course why and to what effect that is. Anyway, this revealed, Surah Nuh revealed after Habasha, migration to Habasha. This is the 5th year of Nabawi. Teaches us sabr and istiqamah, steadfastness, sabr and steadfastness. And it invites us, teaches us how to invite, how to give da'wah. SubhanAllah. You know, many times I read this surah. But when I was, mashallah, one of the scholars, he advised us to include this in the course. When I read this after that, as if I hadn't read this surah ever before. You know, when you read Quran with a purpose, it discloses things to you. Yeah? That's why we need to work smart. Working smart is when you're going to read Quran, you're going to read it for a purpose, not just, I'll get ajr for this, I might as well read it. You'll get the ajr, but you'll miss everything else. Yeah? So when you have an objective, then Quran really reveals itself. One of the scholars in the past, he says, Quran is not a book that you can sit in your, I'll rephrase what he said because it was different context, in your front room, and you just, front room reading, people like to just read in the front room, very interesting. No. Quran is a book of action. It's a practical, vocational. You have to be in the field of da'wah. Then the Quran will come alive. Then it will become relevant. Otherwise, it's just nice stories. So what? Nuh alayhi salam, yeah, okay, fine, what? No. You have to be active, then it reveals itself, subhanAllah. So, beautiful this is. Allah Ta'ala is mentioning here, Nuh alayhi salam. Let's take the central theme. The process of da'wah should continue 24/7. People may think that's a bit extreme. 24/7. That's what we created for. It is important to persuade the disbelievers to repent and to warn them of the adhab in the world and the azab in the akhirah. This is the job of the prophets. When you give da'wah, you should make it clear in a very absolute manner, very clear manner, but a very sensitive, a very well thought out, wise manner, that the person understands the consequence of not believing and the consequence of believing. So I have, after reading this Quran this year, I have thought that in my da'wah conversations I will add more about what is Jannah, because I haven't done that in the past, to include people and to encourage them to work for that Jannah. I haven't done that in the past, that's been a shortcoming. And to talk more about graphically what Jahannam is in the Quran, because it's there, isn't it? And it's all the audience is the non-believers, isn't it? So we're not telling them, then what are you doing? So anyway, khair. Let me summarize this surah for you without going through it, inshallah. Nuh alayhi salam, he spent 950 years at least giving da'wah. And he was such a flexible person in his da'wah, in that he was a strategist. Whenever he came through a hurdle, he would change strategy. And then again, change strategy. And then he kept changing strategy, until there was no more strategy left. And the time had come to the end. So he says, let's just take this. Let's take the response he got, yeah? وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ وَجَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ وَاسْتَغْشَوْا ثِيَابَهُمْ وَأَصَرُّوا وَاسْتَكْبَرُوا اسْتِكْبَارًا. Look at this response. You know, many people, they don't like to give da'wah because people are not interested. People are not going to mock me, or the people are not going to listen to me. Look, this Quran is telling us. It happened to Nuh. Nuh is one of the 5 best humans to ever live on this earth. 5 best, ulul azm min ar-rusul. It happened to him. So they would put their fingers, not just this, tips. They put the whole finger as if in the ears. Don't want to hear you at all. They would cover themselves up so that you don't even recognize who I am, so don't want to address you, don't want to talk to you. And they were arrogant. And then he says, I called them publicly, I called them one-to-one, and I said to them, just ask Allah to forgive you, do tawbah, that's all I'm asking you. I'm not asking you for anything. So a da'i has to have sincere concern for people. It's not a wrestling match, yeah? It's not a conversation or a debate where you have to win the debate, yeah? It's about concern. I want to save myself and this person from hellfire. That's it. Then he said some things that you will get in this life. So you need to realize people who are not yet, haven't thought about the hellfire and the akhirah, they are attached to this dunya, yeah? So they want some immediate benefit as well of believing. So he's saying, look, if you believe and do tawbah, Allah, He will send to you rain from the sky, showers. Now imagine that in a place where there's not much rain. And then He will help you with money and children. And He will give you gardens and rivers. So He is giving them incentive in this dunya as well as in the akhirah. Okay, I think let's just do it like this. We won't go back to the, we'll go for the next surah. What was his call? Let's have a look at that. 21 to 24. قال نوح ربي. So you take the English, I'll take the Arabic. إنهم أصوني واتبعوا من لم يزده ماله وولده إلا خسارة ومكروا مكرا كبارا. So they plotted against him. وقالوا لا تذرن آلهتكم ولا تذرن ودا ولا سواعا ولا يغوث ويعوق ونسرا وقد أضلوا كثيرا ولا تزد الظالمين إلا ضلالا. But then what happened? The punishment came. مما خطيئاتهم أغرقوا, they were drowned. فأدخلوا نارا, and entered into the fire. فلم يجدوا لهم من دون الله أنصارا. Nobody except Allah will help them. Meaning nobody will help them. Then Allah Ta'ala mentions the last dua. This is at the end. This is at the end of the da'wah and centuries of da'wah. 950 years. He knew these people, nothing happening here. This is a lost situation, lost cause now. So he is now worried about the continuity of these people, that if they remain, the people who come after them, they will also be like them, because this is all they will know from their forefathers. So he's saying, let's start again. Let's wipe this, let's contain this disease. Stop it here. So this is the dua he makes right at the end. So as da'is, yeah, you don't go to one day dawah and then you start making this dua, yeah, against people. No, okay, I'm telling you that so that you know the context. And he knew there was no hope. وَقَالَ نُوحُ رَبِّي لَا تَذَرْ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ دَيَّارًا. Oh Allah, do not leave even one of these people on this earth, not even one. إِنَّكَ إِن تَذَرْهُمْ يُضِلُّوا عِبَادَكَ وَلَا يَلِدُوا إِلَّا فَاجِرًا كَفَّارًا. Because if you do, from my experience of 950 years, if you do, they will not only give birth to more sinful people, they will also affect your people who want to practice. You need to sit up straight at the back. And then he is asking for forgiveness. In the surah, he is giving da'wah to them to ask for forgiveness, yeah? In the end, he is doing what he says. Because Allah Ta'ala says before what he doesn't like in Surah Saf. لِمَا تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. What does it mean? You say that which you don't do. So he's doing what he says, yeah? You get it? So the da'i has to say what he does. You go, oh, walk the talk. Rabbi ighfirli, Allah forgive me, wali walidayya, and my parents, wali man dakhala bayti, and whoever enters into my house as a mu'min, believer, wali mu'minina wal mu'minat, wala tazidi zalimina illa tabara. But destroy these zalimin now. Surah Jinn. Revealed 10th year of Nabawi, Makkah. Again, like one of the previous surahs, on the return from Taif, and at the place of Nakhla. Okay, central theme is every able body can benefit from Quran, whether human or jinn. Remember we mentioned in one of the previous surahs, the jinn, they listened to the Quran, yeah? And then they became straight away da'i. And can embrace pure tawheed while staying away from shirk. One can also understand the position of the messenger and the messengerhood and work righteousness by giving da'wah for a better akhirah. So this is really talking about, let's take the overview really, it will be I think, better because it's shorter. It will summarize it. It addresses the jinns who are also responsible and accountable. So there are only two makhluk, creations that are responsible, man and jinn. Like humans, the jinn can be believers or rejectors, they can be good or bad. Surah then tells us of a group of jinns who are highly affected by listening to the Quran. That's why I recommend myself and you listen to Quran as well, yeah? Not just reciting, that's good. Listen as well, it has a different effect. This happened when some of the jinns felt a change in the universe, so they approached the heavens, but they were repelled by chasing stars. They saw something happening, yeah, somewhere, and they thought, what is this? And then remember we mentioned that when the jinns try to listen, Allah Ta'ala sends a shooting star. That's mentioned here as well. At that time, the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were at Nakhla, where they were offering Fajr prayer. At this moment, some jinns arrived there and heard the Quran and understood the nature of the change that they were experiencing, meaning because of this Quran. Their hearts were moved and they submitted to the truth of the Quran. The jinns did not only believe in this revelation, but they made it their mission to convey it to other jinns, because they thought this is amazing. And you just imagine, yeah, you walk into Apple store and they're giving away iPads for $5, and they've got millions of them. What will you do when you see your friends? Go on, man, hurry up, quickly, offer. This is what the jinns felt. That's what this Quran, I can't keep this to myself, this is too good to be true. This is how we need to be. We need to be desperate to tell it to other people. But you can only become desperate when you know what it is, isn't it? When it touches you. And really, to be frank and honest, it will only touch you when you read it in Arabic and you understand it in Arabic, really. That doesn't mean you don't start somewhere, yeah? And that doesn't mean that you just stop because I don't know Arabic, I'm not going to... No, you try your best, yeah? I gave an example to somebody who asked me once about translation and the difference between translation and reading the real thing. I said, you know, it was an old lady. I said, you know, when you, in the cold, when you wear your shoes, do you wear gloves? She goes, yeah. I said, have you ever tied your laces with gloves? She goes, yeah, but it's difficult. I said, that's it. Translation of Quran is trying to tie your shoelaces with the gloves on. Difficult. You take your gloves off, easy, isn't it? Direct contact. Yeah, it touches the heart. Quran has to touch the heart. You can't touch the heart really without you knowing Arabic. And Arabic is very easy, yeah, inshallah, to learn. So make an intention to learn Arabic for that cause, and that cause alone. Khair. The surah also mentions the fact that the Prophet ﷺ is a clear and plain reminder and warner. He can neither benefit or harm anyone. So he doesn't have this ability. Nor does he have any authority other than what Allah has given to him. So he is Abduhu wa Rasuluh, servant and the Rasul of Allah. Two beautiful surahs coming now. Muzzammil, Muddathir. You know about these two surahs, I'm sure. Beautiful surahs. Muzzammil means the one that has been enveloped, yeah? Zammiluni. Put this, what is chadar? What is English for chadar? Blanket maybe. Blanket, let's take blanket over me. Or dathiruni, was it? Maybe not veil. Shawl type thing, yeah? Good. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said that when he received the first revelation, isn't it? When he came to who? Who did he come to? Khadija radiallahu anha. Khadija, as one of the scholars in the past said, she was a military base for him. You know what that means? That means she was such a big, huge support for him. Because she believed in him, she supported him. Subhanallah al-Azim. Radiallahu anha. Anyway, let's take the first few ayat, then we'll move to the actual overview. Muzzammil. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya ayyuhal muzzammil. Qumil layla illa qalila. Stand but a little in the night. Nisfahu aw inqus minhu qila aw zid alayhi warattilil Qur'ana tartila. In the beginning, Allah Ta'ala is saying to the Prophet ﷺ, recite this Qur'an, yeah, in due measure, yeah, tartila. Okay? This will prepare Prophet ﷺ for the mission ahead. The mission ahead needs Quran to be hammered. We need to drench ourselves in Quran. Drench, drench. You go underwater, up to there, Quran. Because shaitan is in our blood, as the Prophet ﷺ told us. Shaitan, he travels in the blood of man. How to get rid of him? Quran. Once you drench yourself with Quran, antivirus, shaitan has to run. But if you drench yourself with music, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, shaitan is going to be loving it, he's staying. Because he's his tunes, he loves these tunes. So inshallah ta'ala, let's make that change inshallah. I'm sure you are doing it anyway, but let's inshallah do it even more than we have been in the past. Okay, the surah addresses different stages of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, his seclusion in order to devote himself to the worship of Allah, his worship, his obedience, his standing in prayer, his recitation. Also, so Muzammil is mentioned what it means. And this is very beneficial. Yeah, so this was preparation for him to now take qawlan thaqila. Because the Quran is a heavy burden. This is preparing him. Yeah, so the da'i has to prepare. Yeah, in the day you need to have the skills to talk, but in the night you need to talk to Allah. Because Allah, He will strengthen, motivate. And then in the day you go and do your job. In fact, people of the past, some of the, I can't remember if they were Romans, the Roman emperor, I remember, I think, when he sent some spies to go and spy on these, or not to spy, just to go and see, observe. Was it Persians? Maybe the Persians, yeah? That go and look at these people of Muhammad, who are they, what are they like? They came back and they said, these people are amazing. In the day, fursan. They'd ride horses, yeah? And in the night, ruhban. Just simple people praying. Yani two extremes as if, yeah? Because if you're a soldier, then you're not that. If you're that, then you're not soldier. They are both, subhanallah. So this is what Allah Ta'ala, He was preparing the Prophet ﷺ for. Okay, the next ayah talks about the persecution he had to face at the hands of the mushrikeen. They would use their hands and their tongues to inflict abuse to the Prophet ﷺ. Surah ends with lightening the load from the shoulders of the Prophet ﷺ and the believers. Meaning now, because the Prophet ﷺ was told to recite most of the night. The last ayah is telling us, read as much as you can. Because Allah knows you may be in difficulty, traveling, blah, 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 yeah? Do as much as you can. This is what Islam is about, yeah? فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Do as much as you possibly can do, not more than that. Because otherwise it's not fair. Okay, let's move on to Surah Al-Qiyamah. Beautiful surah. Did we do Muddathir? Okay, let's do Muddathir because we didn't mention it. Muddathir. Now this is the next stage, you could say. Yeah, although these surahs, both of them are the earliest surahs that were revealed. Yeah. In this, Allah Ta'ala is saying to the Prophet ﷺ, not only read Quran now, the next thing you need to do. Ya al-Muddathir, Ya ayyuhal Muddathir, qum fa'anzir. Stand, arise and warn. Wa rabbaka fakabbir, and magnify your Lord. Wa thiyabaka fatahhir wa rujza fahjur. Wa la tamnun tastakthir. Wa li rabbika fasbir. And for your Lord, for Allah, remain steadfast. Because you are now going to warn. When you warn, people will, what? They will like it? They will oppose it. Yeah? You know, in Arabic it says, Al-haqqu murrun. The truth is bitter. Yeah? And the truth of the Prophet ﷺ was real truth. It was really bitter. So there will be opposition, but you have to face the enemy. Okay, let's take some ayat here, 26 to 29. This is section 4. Talking about the final result of those people who claim that the Quran is magic, or they claim that this is not from Allah. What will happen to them? Because they say in ayah 25, In hadha illa qawlul bashar. This is not but the words of some man. So what will happen to them? سَأُصْلِيهِ سَقَرْ, I will drive him into Saqar, one of the proper names of hell. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سَقَرْ, what is Saqar? لَا تُبْقِي وَلَا تَذَرْ, it lets nothing remain and leaves nothing unburned. أعوذ بالله من ذلك. Scary. لَوَّاحَةٌ لِلْبَشَرِ, altering the skins, making them black. عَلَيْهَا تِسْعَةَ عَشَرٍ, and over it are 19 angels. Now, you know what Walid ibn Mughira said regarding this 19 angels? He said, I'll take that many on, you take them others on. Ridiculing. That the angels, I will wrestle them. Don't worry. This is their ridicule. So Allah Ta'ala is telling them what will happen to you because of your ridicule. Okay, let's take the last few ayat of this, then we move on. Ayah 53. Okay, let's take from 52. بَلْ يُرِيدُ كُلُّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ أَوْ يُؤْتَى صُحُفًا مُنَشَّرَةً, rather every person among them desires that he would be given scriptures spread out instead of making it public. كَلَّا بَلْ لَا يَخَافُونَ الْآخِرَةَ, but they do not fear the hereafter. كَلَّا إِنَّهُ تَذْكِرَةٌ, this is just a reminder, Quran. فَمَنْ شَاءَ ذَكَرَ, who wants to be reminded by it. وَمَا يَذْكُرُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, and they will not remember except if Allah wills. هُوَ أَحْلُ التَّقْوَى وَهُوَ أَحْلُ الْمَغْفِرَةِ, he is worthy of fear and adequate for granting forgiveness. Surah Al-Qiyamah. Of course, as you know, Surah Al-Qiyamah is about Qiyamah. Beautiful surah, subhanallah. Let's take what they are saying here. Okay. Subject matter is, of course, resurrection, Al-Qiyamah, which is one of the main pillars of Islam, or Iman rather. It mentions the trials, the extremities and torments of that day. It also describes the state of a person at the time of death. We'll mention that. First thing, let's take لا أقسم بيوم القيامة. No, I swear by the day of resurrection. So this no can mean, one interpretation, that you say there's no Qiyamah, I say no, what you're saying is wrong. And in fact, I'm so certain that I'm swearing by it, that it is true. What's the evidence? وَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالنَّفْسِ اللَّوَّامَةِ, I swear by the reproaching soul. We mentioned three nafs. What are they? Nafs al-Lawwama, number one. Surah Yusuf. Nafsul ammaratun bis-su, the nafs that commands you to bad. And then nafsul mutma'inna, Surah Al-Fajr. Yes, three nafs. Nafs al-Lawwama is your conscience. Pricks you, doesn't it? You do something wrong. You feel bad, guilty conscience. Allah Ta'ala is saying this is the evidence that there will be Qiyamah. Your nafs al-Lawwama is a courtyard inside you, which judges you every time you do something good or bad. The manifestation of that is the day of the resurrection. Did you follow that? Clear? This is the proof. Khair. Moving on. Why do they deny the hereafter? Ayah 20 to 21. The real reason for them denying the hereafter. And again, this is covered in the QFC, this surah, as Iman in the Akhirah, in detail. Kalla bal tuhibbun al-ajila. The reason why they deny the hereafter is because they love this dunya too much. Ajila is something that you get straight away. You know, cash, not check. Check takes 3 days to clear, yeah? Unless it bounces. But cash, they want it now. They want the pleasure now. I want it now. I was, where was I just this morning? Or yesterday, it said in the High Street, life is a festival. Primark. Life is a festival. Subhanallah. Straight away. Allah Ta'ala says, La'ab and Lahuf. This Quran mentions it. Life is not a festival. Life is the path to the festival. Festival is waiting. Subhanallah al-Azim. So, shaitan everywhere trying to persuade us of other things. So, وَتَذَرُونَ الْآخِرَةَ, and they neglect the hereafter, and then it talks about Some face is bright, some face is not. I won't go into that because of the time. But look at this, the person when he is about to die. تَظُنُّ أَن يُفْعَلَ بِهَا فَاقِرَةٌ, expecting that they, sorry. كَلَّا 26. كَلَّا إِذَا بَلَغَتِ التَّرَاقِي وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ. No, when the soul has reached the collarbone. Yeah, because after that there's no tawbah, yeah? وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقٍ, who will cure him now? Bring somebody to get rid of it. وَظَنَّ أَنَّهُ الْفِرَاقِ. Now they are certain. You remember we mentioned dhan? Dhan is certainty here, yeah? That time has come to leave. وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ. The two legs will be joined. Either the dunya and the hereafter is joined, or the person's legs are being joined because of the agony. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. May Allah Ta'ala protect us from this in the hereafter and in the time of death. Anyway, then it talks about, think about your own creation. Does man think, this is ayah 36, we'll do in English. Does man think that he will be left neglected? And he made you and just leave you? No. Has he not been a sperm of semen emitted, first of all? And then we made him a clinging clot, and Allah created his form and proportioned him. And then made of him two mates, male or female. After all this, أَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ بِقَادِرٍ أَلَا أَن يُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى. Allah who made you in these stages, can't He just recreate you? Before it mentions banana. Allah will make even the tips of your fingertips. Yeah, He is able to make that, and everyone's is identical. Yeah. So he knows the DNA, all this. Yeah, He knows before you found DNA. Okay, He knows you. He will recreate you. There is no difficult for Him at all. Surah Al-Insan, another name for this is Surah Al-Dahr. Central theme here is man has the choice between good and bad. He should be grateful and use his freedom appropriately. Adopt the right guidance of Islam, you will be rewarded, and refrain from following the bad character ingrate. Let's just take the text here. According to Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ used to recite this surah in the Fajr of Friday. The surah starts by praising Allah who created man in stages and gave him hearing, sight and intellect so that he can worship his creator, meaning be grateful. Then it talks about Allah has prepared shackles, chains and a blaring fire for the people who are ungrateful, while He has prepared a special drink which has kafur for the thankful and grateful. Such people have these characteristics. Again, more characteristics of the people of Jannah. They fulfill their trust, they fear the last day, and they feed the needy, the orphans and the captives. Due to their good deeds and perseverance, Allah Ta'ala, He will give them Jannah. And at the end of the surah, Allah mentions His greatest favor for which there is no alternative. Let's take that. And let's just mention this before we go on. This teaches us that the da'i finds strength through worship and patience in the face of the enemy. The night prayer plays a vital, pivotal role in strengthening the da'i. And the surah ends by warning the rejectors that if Allah wills, He may destroy you and replace you with another people. Let's just take the last ayah. Let's just take the last two ayat. Yeah. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. And you do not will except what Allah wills. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. Verily Allah is ever knowing and wise. يُدْخِلُ مَن يَشَاءُ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ. Allah, He will enter into His mercy whom He wills. وَالظَّالِمِينَ عَدَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. And He has prepared for them a painful punishment. And the last surah of this juz, Mursalat. In this, there is repetition of this sentence, وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe and disaster for the people who denied. Denied what? Denied Allah, His Rasul and the hereafter. Proofs for the punishment and reward and the resurrection in the winds has been given in the beginning. Let's take the central theme. Quran is presenting rational, observable, internal and historical proofs, like we've mentioned throughout. The resurrection will take place and the deniers will be destroyed. In contrast, believers who pray, do good and are righteous will be honoured with reward. Let's take some ayat here. What will happen on the day? Ayah 8. فَإِذَا النُّجُومُ طُمِسَتْ, when the stars are obliterated. وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ فُرِجَتْ, heaven is open. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ نُصِفَتْ, and the mountains are blown away. وَإِذَا الرُّسُلُ أُقِّتَتْ, and when the messengers time has come. لِأَيِّ يَوْمٍ أُجِّلَتْ, for what day was it postponed? لِيَوْمِ الْفَصْلِ, for the day of judgment. What is the day of judgment? وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ, this is the day where there is destruction for the people who denied in the resurrection. Let's take some ayat here, 30 to 33 maybe. Well, let's read through this first, inshallah. So we looked at that. Let's just read the last paragraph here. There's a few more. Khair. Allah informed the rejectors that this day will be the destruction for the rejectors. This has been repeated 10 times in this surah. In addition, the surah mentions the previous nations that were destroyed and asks a searching question. Did we not create you from a very insignificant drop of water? Again, the same thing as Surah Qiyamah. And then took you through various stages of creation into a complete being. Then the surah reminds us that the one who has created us and then causes us to return to the soil, and the one who irrigates the soil with sweet water, he can surely resurrect us as well. The one who is doing all this, he will resurrect us. And the next ayat inform us of the end of the two groups. The rejectors will be taken close to the burning fire, while the righteous will be taken to the place of shade and flowing rivers. And the surah ends by informing that the rejectors, that they may enjoy this life for a while, but the end result will come to pass for them which there is no escape. Let's just take some ayat here in the end, 41 to the end. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي ظِلَالٍ وَعُيُونٍ, Muttaqeen will be in shades and springs. وَفَوَاكِهَ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ, they will have whatever they desire of fruit. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا, drink and eat and drink, حَنِيًّا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, satisfied with what Allah has given you because of your actions. إِنَّ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ, this is how Allah Ta'ala, He gives jaza to the good doers. But وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ, woe to the deniers. كُلُوا وَتَمَتَّعُوا قَلِيلًا إِنَّكُمْ مُجْرِمُونَ, eat and enjoy yourself for a while, you are the criminals. And again, woe to you. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ وَارْكَعُوا لَا يَرْكَعُونَ, when it said to them, bow down. Bow down means, one of the meanings can be, bow down your desire to the desire of Allah. People say, I'm free. Why should I listen to God? I'm free. Warka'u, bow down, submit. You bow down to Him anyway. Because your eyes and your nose and your mouth are where they are because Allah said they're there. Can you change them? You walk on your feet. Can you walk on your hands? You're obeying Allah. You can't fly. You're obeying Allah. You have to eat and drink, otherwise you die. You're obeying Allah. You're obeying Him anyway. You're not free. So obey Him fully. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ بِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَهُ يُؤْمِنُونَ, then in what statement after this Quran will they believe? Meaning that if you are not going to believe in this Quran after the Quran has come, then you're not going to believe. We ask Allah Ta'ala to give us belief, iman in this Quran, for us to read it, understand it, act upon it, and convey it. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk wa jazakumullahu khairan.